Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Here I am to go over the Week 13 key games in NCAA Football 2008. And we are starting off in the ACC with number 5 Virginia Tech against Virginia. And in the matchup for the battle for the Commonwealth Cup, which after Boston College upsetting number 9 Miami earlier in the day 28-22, this game turned into the battle for the Coastal Division. Charlottesville was hyped for this game, hoping for Cavs' 8-win season and plus another chance to beat Mickey to become ACC champion. Things did start off well for Virginia as Longshore finds guys for 27 yards to take the early lead, but it was all downhill from there. Matthews for the Hokies answers back with a 34-yard pass to Vogelpaul to tie it up in the first quarter, then finds Bali from 12 yards to go up by a touchdown. Then Lane runs it in from 1 yard out, followed by Brown getting another 1 yard touchdown, followed by a 16-yard pick six by Roberson to seal a 35-7 victory and secure their spot in the ACC championship game, which that's going to be a fun game to cover between Miami and Virginia Tech, especially since Virginia Tech does have the momentum of having wins, especially a few wins in a row. And to be exact, Virginia Tech currently has a 6-game winning streak going on for them. 1 second, let's just do that so that way that doesn't keep buzzing. Doing this back on the phone because I made some room, had to delete a couple of apps that are luckily on the Kindle as well. So I just basically moved the apps from the phone to the Kindle so that way I have room to update YouTube on the phone. Next, we have Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma. Bedlam. The matchup of matchups for bragging rights across the state, with Texas A&M beating Texas the previous day 30-17, forces the Sooners to try to win this game and head to Kansas City for the Big 12 championship against Nebraska, because Texas A&M holds tiebreaker over Oklahoma, beating them earlier in the season, to be exact, in week number 10, a 17-10 victory. I think that was one of the week 10 key games back when I was just doing 5 apiece. Numerous people loaded inside Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, ready for Sooner superiority. But it didn't start like that. Oklahoma State starts off the scoring with a 3-yard run by Edwards for a touchdown to take the early lead. Polite then nails a 52-yard field goal to go down 7-3 after 1. Then they took the lead 10-7 with Crowder bruising his way from 1 yard out. Then a field goal by Polite nails a 40-yarder to be up 13-7. But sadly for the folks of Norman, that would be the last lead they would have. The Cowboys respond with Dukes finding Wayne from 16 yards out to go up 14-13 and wouldn't look back. A 27-yard field goal by Larson with 14 seconds left to go up 17-13 at the half. Duke puts up a 5-yard run to bring the lead to 2 possessions and have Oklahoma State up 24-13 after the third. Duke scores one more rushing touchdown from 1 yard out to be up 31-13. And with 2 minutes left, Harris finds Wilson from 23 yards out and convert a 2-point conversion, but the Sooners fall short to the Cowboys, 31-21, causing, bedlam in the Big 12. Things should be interesting heading into championship week, which Texas A&M now has to prepare for Nebraska instead of it being Oklahoma. That's going to be fun to see. For the Big East game, with basically the conference already being decided, I went with USF and Pitt, and it turned out to be actually a pretty good game. This game in Heinz Field is more for a better bowl game spot between the Bulls and the Panthers. And this was a high-scoring affair that fans enjoy for all the best reasons. It started off with Pitt scoring a 13-yard touchdown from Manning to Robinson to take the first lead of the game. Then the Bulls give it to Franklin from 4 yards out to tie it up at 7. Then Jordan scores from 2 yards out to lead it 14-7 after the first quarter. Manning finds Cobb from 38 yards out to tie things up at 14, and then started to run away with it from there. Lee catches a pass from Manning from 63 yards to go up 21-14, but Manning throws a pick six to Floyd on USF for a 68-yard score to tie it back up, but the Bulls couldn't score anymore after that. Manning finds Schaefer from 17 yards out to take the lead for good, going up 28-21. Manning and Lee connect again from 18 yards out. Then Pitt gets a pick six of their own, a 52-yard return by Slater to now double the Bulls' score, 42-21, after the third quarter. A couple more touchdowns by runs from Mercy and Paris, have the final score being 56-21, giving the Panthers a 9-win season right now, and causing USF to fall to 500 on the year, and possibly not even be in a bowl game this year. For Conference USA, I chose SMU and Memphis because SMU needed to. Because here's the thing: the Mustangs needed this win to help themselves to get into the Conference USA Championship game, which will be hosted in Tampa because of how good the Lightning were in the conference. But Memphis and the Tigers weren't going to go down without a fight inside the Liberty Bowl, and the Tigers proved worthy of a potential bowl game with their performance, starting with a 13-yard run by Graham to start the scoring early in the first. Then, a 5-yard pass from Ryan to Estes puts Memphis up 14-0, but the Mustangs responded with a touchdown of their own, a 27-yard strike from Ellis to Hickman to go down 14-7 heading into halftime. Schroeder nails a 20-yard field goal in the third quarter to go up 17-7. Ryan and Estes find each other again from 17 yards out. Then Ryan finds Biggers from 20 yards out to be up 31-7. And SMU puts up one last score, a 10-yard run by Walker to make the score 31-14, which, with this loss for SMU, will most likely put Houston in the championship game against Tampa Bay. Now, for the Independents, Notre Dame was playing this week against McNair Central, and the Bobcats destroyed the Fighting Irish without much of a fight, winning 255-0. The only main difference in this domination over others was it being senior night, so head coach Bill Purvis let a few seniors have a game, including backup for most of the year Chuck May, with May going 21 for 23 for 360 yards and 9 touchdowns through the air, and also having 7 rushing attempts for 82 yards and another touchdown. Robert Atkinson, the starting running back, went off in this game, with 38 attempts on the ground for an NCAA record 435 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground, and an offense that for the other 11 games were a backfield by committee, each running back getting 100 yards at the least. And he also had 5 catches for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. Senior tight end Maurice Robinson also had a career day, 9 catches for 162 yards and 3 touchdowns, which should help him look good for any NFL teams needing a tight end in the draft, which I'll look through in the Madden series to see if there's a team that truly needs a tight end, and Marquise Morris could go to that team whenever I get to the draft. Could be in a couple weeks, could be in a month, could be a couple months, depending on how life goes. On defense, senior defensive tackle Ty Jones got 19 tackles, 14 of them for a loss, 9 sacks, deflected a pass, and got one of 7 safeties in the game. May these players have wonderful NFL careers, as we have 2 more games from McNair Central, the SEC Championship game and most likely the National Championship game. Now, last one we have Miami of Ohio against Ohio. I kind of wish I chose the Toledo and Bowling Green game because that one had a little bit more on the line. But the Redhawks needed this win to help themselves get into the MAC championship game. But the Bobcats can't upset Miami and cause the MAC to be a bit crazier than what is already going on. Athens, Ohio is the site for this matchup, but Pendon Stadium became home to a slaughter. Miami starts off strong with a 68-yard touchdown pass from Goss to Kirby. Then Goss finds Williams from 4 yards out to have a 14-0 lead early on. Then Mitchell received a pass from Goss from 13 yards out, now being up 21-0 in the second quarter, and having total control of the game. Saylor finds Kendrick from 56 yards out to make it a 2-touchdown game, but a 27-yard field goal by Bean for the Redhawks and a 31-yard field goal by Hicks for the Bobcats have the score being 24-10 heading into the half. Ohio cuts it down to a 1-touchdown game with a 7-yard run by Washington, but sadly for these Bobcats, this was the last score they would get. Miami has Bean kick a 34-yard field goal to go up by 10. Then in the fourth quarter, Goss finds Williams for a 47-yard touchdown pass to end the game with a final of 34-17. The Redhawks need to hopefully get lucky to be able to get into the championship game, and with only 11 games played, how will that affect the odds of them making a bowl game? Can they get one? I'll do another bowl game update for week 14, and I'll do this right after I do the week 14 preview, instead of simulating games like I did previously. Now here comes one of the biggest games this week. Number 2 TCU versus San Diego State. This game is huge for both teams. The Horned Frogs need this win to secure their spot in the national championship. The Aztecs need this win for a better bowl game, and plus an upset inside the confines of Qualcomm Stadium would have the whole city of San Diego be celebrating for more than a Chargers win this year. Which is something considering they're in the playoff hunt in the Madden universe. And in the first half, it looked like they were on pace. Kilpatrick found Stevens for a 24-yard touchdown pass to take the lead early in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, Vaughn runs from 55 yards out to put the Aztecs up 14-0, having the Horned Frogs on the ropes, putting the second-ranked team on the verge of an upset. One more touchdown early on, a 13-yard strike from Kilpatrick to White with under 90 seconds left. Now San Diego State up 21-0 at the half, which seems good, but TCU made the adjustments needed and proved that they were the second best team in the nation for a reason. A field goal by Moses is from 28 yards out parted the way for scoring for TCU. Bengill tried to keep momentum from turning with a 51-yard field goal to lead it 24-3, but sadly another choke inside Qualcomm was in store. A 30-yard field goal by Moses is the initial spark that the Horned Frogs needed. Then Keller finds Jackson from 28 yards out, but they failed a 2-point conversion, cutting the lead 24-12. But another touchdown drive with their running back Moses. Yes, they have a kicker and a running back with the last name Moses. Maybe they're brothers. From 4 yards out makes it a 5-point game because of an extra point attempt instead of going for 2 again. Keller finds Bell from 3 yards out, and a successful 2-point conversion has TCU finally take the lead 27-24. Keller and Jackson connect once more from 3 yards out to put the icing on the cake, winning 34-24 and completing the perfect regular season. They had already had the Mountain West Championship for weeks, and now they secured the 12-0 season. The only question is, will the voters keep TCU in the national championship game, or will Hawaii perform well enough to put them into that possibility? Stay tuned to find out. Now for the Pac-10, not really many good choices, so I went, of course, with the Apple Cup between Washington State and Washington. This year's battle for the Apple Cup is more for pride than anything. Both squads have been on the underperforming side of things this year, making multiple appearances on the bottom 10. Husky Stadium was ready for a good game, and hopefully a win to end the year with the cup and bragging rights. And things will turn out well for Washington. The Huskies started very, very strong. Garcia found Cox for a 34-yard touchdown pass first, then found Barr for a 1-yard touchdown pass, and he goes to Barr again from 18 yards out to go up 21-0 early on, and didn't look back. The Cougars finally got on the board with a 67-yard touchdown run by Abdullah to make it 21-7, but an 80-yard bomb from Timmons to Cox put the Huskies back up by 3 touchdowns, And another Timmons to Cox touchdown, this time from 31 yards out, puts Washington up 35-7. A 29-yard field goal by Robinson put Washington State down 35-10, with 3.5 minutes left in the half, which ended up being the score at the half. Timmons finds Martins from 11 yards out to now be up 42-10, and in which I believe Timmons must have been suspended for like the first quarter, because players do get suspended in the game for various reasons. But it didn't seem to matter who was under center, as Robinson nails a 26-yard field goal to put the Cougars down 42-13 going into the fourth quarter. A 74-yard touchdown pass from Blackstock to Higgins put the Cougars down 42-20, initially possibly sparking a comeback, but nothing else happened for Washington State as the Huskies score one last time, a 6-yard run by Oliver to make a final score of 49-20. This game became ugly quick, and that is what the fans wanted to see from their team, hoping for a possibility of a better season next year. Meanwhile, Washington State needs to hope for better luck for next season, especially with them being in the Pac-10. Honestly, both schools need to hope that USC takes a very sudden fall off with a lot of their players going pro, going into the draft, and they don't recruit all that well. We'll find out in next few in-game weeks. Real life, maybe a couple months, depending on how often I get this done. Next is my opinion for game of the week. They had to be Florida State versus Florida, but a chance for a conference championship with a trophy on the line is, in my opinion, better than just a rivalry game in state. The battle for the Golden Boot has the Razorbacks travel into Death Valley. By the way, this is number 14 Arkansas against number 12 LSU. Into the home of the Bayou Bengals, and maybe even a trap, as winner will have the unfortunate event of facing McNary Central and Atlanta for the SEC championship. And this was being the game that LSU needed. A 23-yard pass from Brown to Bell put the Tigers up early. The Razorbacks responded with a 4-yard run by James, tied it up after 1. Brown found Wallace for a 2-yard pass to go up a touchdown 14-7 heading into the half. This game ended up being the feeling that the Bayou Bengals needed, especially going to the hopeless feeling of McNary Central in a few weeks. But will hopefully be in a decent bowl game. James does tie it up in the third quarter with a 2-yard touchdown run, but Brown and Bell score again, this time 9-yard touchdown pass, and LSU didn't look back. Brown found Bell one more time, this time from 16 yards, and Wesley from 24 yards to make the final score 35-14. Arkansas shouldn't be disappointed because this has been a great year for them. 9-win season right now is something that is good and hopeful for next season. LSU will face the fearsome McNary Central Bobcats in Atlanta, and yeah, we can just go ahead and assume I'm going to win that SEC championship game. Meanwhile, we have Louisiana Monroe and Louisiana Lafayette for the Sun Belt, and a battle in Louisiana for bragging rights is being determined in Lafayette between the Warhawks and the Ragin' Cajuns. And this game became a game that will go down as one of the better games of the year. Monroe started off with a 3-yard run by Battle to take the lead, but Lafayette replied with a 20-yard pass from Hawley to Abdullah, tying things up heading into the second quarter. Lafayette scores twice in the second, first an 8-yard run by Bush, then Hawley scrambles for an 8-yard run of his own, putting the Cajuns up 21-7 heading into the half. But Monroe started to come back a little bit, but Lafayette scored first, a 6-yard pass from Hawley to Lewis to go up 28-7. Then Monroe strikes with a 5-yard run by Battle, cutting the lead in half. Lafayette scores one last time, a 2-yard pass from Hawley to Lewis again, putting them up 35-14. The Warhawks nearly completed the comeback with a 5-yard run by Hawkins, then a 17-yard pass from Cribbs to Higgins with 71 seconds left gave Monroe hope, but it was too little, too late, losing by a final score of 35-20. At the very least, Lafayette should be in a bowl game, And hopefully with a North Texas loss next week, they can clinch the Sun Belt. Only one way to find out. And our last game is the last key game for the WAC. Well, it's the last key game being for the week, but WAC's got 3 games, and I'm still trying to decide on which one's going to be week 14's key game. But we have Boise State versus number 3 Hawaii. The Broncos are the last hope to keep the Warriors from going undefeated because Hawaii is facing the FCS West, and knowing they will win that game, this one is the most important for Hawaii this year. Aloha Stadium is ready to host their 3rd-ranked team and hope for victory. A bit of worry arose when Boise State coming out strong with a 7-yard pass from Green to Stevenson, then a 34-yard pick six by Harrington, up 14-0, and having Hawaii and the Warriors fans being worried about an upset. Then Hawaii strikes back, with Henderson proving why he should be taken high in the NFL draft, first finding Singleton from 48 yards, then Boyd from 21 yards out to tie it up halfway through the first quarter, but that was all the scoring in the first quarter. Going to the second, Hawaii pulls away with 2 field goals from Duchette, one from 28 yards, then one from 20 yards, then 2 more touchdowns, a rare rushing touchdown by Bridge from 6 yards out, then an 18-yard pick six by Thornton to put the Warriors over the Broncos 34-14 heading into the half. Duchesne nails a 31-yard field goal, now up 37-14 heading into the fourth, with the win basically in the bag. One more touchdown pass by Henderson to Cleveland from 30 yards out seals the win, but 2 more field goals, this time Washington hitting one from 30 yards out and 38 yards out, make a final score of 44-20, leaving the Broncos at 500. Disappointing for a team that looked like they could have been more in the top 25 in my opinion from looking at the beginning of the year. Now Hawaii needs to hope the votes go their favor to hopefully play in the national championship game. Will they? Stay tuned to find out as I do that episode. And that is it for the key games. One last week, and looking through week 14, there's only 5 conferences, so we're back to 5 key games. But until then, I will see you all next time.